Hey ladies, welcome back again to the She Lifts podcast. I have got the quick tip, the one drop pill for you on how to lose 43 kgs in a year. So my guest today is going to give you the answers. It's the easy way to get it done because there is obviously an easy way to drop 40 kgs in a year. And it is my great friend Vicki that has come through to give us all the tips and tricks on how to do such a thing so easily. Because it's easy, right?
No.
So I really do want to touch on that journey that you've had because you actually started your weight loss and fitness journey later in your life, had some hormonal and different things that you had to deal with on your journey.
Yep.
But before we get to that part, I want to know more about you and your background. So who you are, where you grew up, what was your family dynamics like for you growing up?
So I grew up in Manurewa, and I have an older sister, younger brother. My parents have been married nearly 50 years, coming up 50 years this year. And so we just grew up in Manurewa. We never, we weren't rich by any means, but we never ever wanted for anything.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 18, I moved to Papakura, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah,
so,
this is home.
Yeah, so I grew up with, just a lot of my cousins around and all of that sort of thing. And, yeah, it was just fun times, I guess, yeah.
Because you are quite like a people person, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you love connection and relationships. I can see that.
Yeah, definitely. And just, just generally interested in what people are doing and, that sort of stuff. And I guess that's why I became a hairdresser as well, because, who doesn't love a good old chin wag?
And now you are teaching hairdressers.
Yeah.
The future hairdressers out there usually probably going straight past your class, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right on in there, get the tough love that they need and then out the door into the real world, baby.
Yeah, something like that. So
that's so good.
Yeah.
And then you have got four children?
Three. So
Three children and 5 grandkids, is that right?
5 grandkids, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 girls of my own and a bonus son. And then my bonus son and his partner together have blessed us with 5 handsome grandsons.
So all grandsons.
All boys, yep.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And is it true that being a grandparent is the best role?
Oh, totally. It's so different. Like you just don't think you can love your kids anymore until they have babies. And then I guess you kind of get to see them grow up again in their kids. So
that's a cool way to think
I
of
know
it.
they certainly soften my heart a lot.
Yeah.
Boys do. So yeah.
They got you wrapped around their little
too.
fingers?
Yeah, totally. Yep.
And they know it?
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
So what I would 100% expect as well.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it's a cool job.
That is so cool. So growing up, were you, because obviously looking at you now, people would look at you now and be like, oh my God, she looks great, very beautiful, dresses really well, has a great body, everything like that. People would look at you and think that's so cool. Have you always been like this, into fitness, into sports, anything like that?
Hell no.
Complete opposite.
Yeah. And in my family, we were talking about this with cousins and stuff, and I had a conversation with a cousin of mine earlier in the week and saying that, in our family we always had a dark one, a fair one, a fat one and a skinny one, short and tall. So I was the short, dark, fat one in my family. And it was just that was your role in the whānau. And so it never became kind of like a negative thing, I guess, all right? It was just something we laughed about.
Yeah, you were like, I'm just this one.
Yeah, and everyone and all of the cousins will fit into one of those categories, So, yeah, and I think now, even now I think back and I'm like, maybe is that what sort of started my whole mentality of thinking that I was just that person my whole life.
So you gave yourself that story or that label,
I did, yeah. And so, it wasn't, I played netball at school and I played touch rugby when I was a bit older and stuff like that, but I was never good, but I was reliable.
Yeah.
And so, so I did those, a few of those things and sort of in and out of a few gyms and stuff, but never ever serious and never ever really knew what I was doing, I guess. And so, so it wasn't until really 18 months ago that I made the decision to change for a healthy lifestyle, really.
So this is very new to you.
Very new.
Yeah, that's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
It's actually interesting sometimes when we put a label on ourselves And we think like, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
But when you really stop and peel it back, like we kind of use it as an excuse, which I have done.
Yeah.
Like I've done that growing up, being like, oh, I'm just a straight shooter.
Yeah.
I just tell you how it is. But really, I was not. I would tell you how it is and just like bite.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really get to like, this is actually what's happening. This is how it is. The message wasn't straight. It was just harsh. And I would just be like, well, it's just who I am.
Yeah.
That's just how I am.
Yeah.
Whereas like now I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely going to tell you the truth, but you'll know that there's love behind it before I say it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very much like that with a lot of things I do as well. I think I call it more of the, I like to think of myself as loving hard.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
That conversation that we had, because I think the words tough love's been, I don't know if it's like a generational thing.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
totally.
But I
Yeah.
remember growing up and my parents telling me like, it's just tough love, blah, 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 blah. And I remember that. Oh, it's tough love. It's tough love. It's tough love. And so I grew up thinking like, oh yeah, it's tough love.
Yeah.
And I actually think it's great. I think that is the best way to love your kids and love yourself and love other people, because it means that you're willing to have that hard conversation, that you're not going to accept less than who they like their best is.
Yeah.
Like, you can have a bad day and you can have a bad moment, but like in the whole grand scheme of things, you should be working at your best capacity at all times.
Yeah, totally.
Otherwise, it's a disrespect to the people that believe in you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? Like, we've all had someone sacrifice something for us to be where we are.
Yeah,
And so if you're not going to make the most of it, it's
Yeah.
like you're disrespecting that person's sacrifice.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But when you reworded it to loving hard, I was like, that is it. Because the love, you know, it was tough love. So the tough comes first, the love will come after. But the love should come first.
Yeah.
And then that hard part, that hard conversation or holding you to a standard or all those things, that comes wrapped up in the love.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
all a part. It's like one thing.
Yeah. And it is. And I know for me, you know, and my kids will say that. Like, I love you with every fibre of my being.
Yeah.
And I would die for you. But I will also tell you the hard truth if I need to, or say, well, actually, I don't know if you're making the right decision, or do you know what I mean? And just have, and so that's where the hard part comes in. And they have said to me, you know, man, you are hard, Mum.
Yeah.
But it always comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
And I think when I thought about how I love hard, and for myself, I'm like, yes, that's who I am. I'm not the tough love kind of person.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
When you said it to me, I was like, actually, that is more of it.
Yeah. So, and I do that with everything I do in life.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be work, whether it be my training. I mean, I've even had, you know, for myself in my training, there's been days where you don't want to do it or whatever, but, you know, I have to love hard on myself to be able to do it as well. And, you know, it just means you just got to get up and get it done.
Yeah. Where do you think that came from? Like, was your mum like that? Your parents were like that? Did it come from not having that around and realising it's important? Like, where did that sort of come from for you?
I think it comes from my whānau and from my parents, definitely. My dad was he was hard, but he was softer, whereas my mum's side of the family is sort of, they're just hard, you know, they're just in everything. They're definitely empathetic, but that sort of stuff. And I feel like you, that's where that whole tough love has come from.
It's just tough love.
But for me, it was like, actually, when I think about it, they loved us as well. They were just gave us the hard truth sometimes, and switching it around certainly makes more sense to me now. So, it definitely comes from whānau, that's for real. Yeah. They're all pretty hard, and I mean, just look at my sister, to be honest. She's pretty hard.
Hearty woman, that's why. So it was June of last year? Mm-hmm. No, June 2022.
22, yeah.
That was the moment that you were like, holy shit, I need to do something about myself.
Yeah.
And it was from a photo on a Facebook post, is that right?
Yeah. So we did a open day with MIT, and I just chugged along, you know, and we did a group photo at the end of it. And, oh, man, I saw this photo, I've posted up, and I was just like, there is no way I look like that. Like, honestly, it just blew me away. So I took a screenshot and I just kept it in a folder on my phone. And every now and then I'd look back at it and I was just absolutely horrified. And I must admit that next 6 months for me was like, I actually went into quite a deep place actually, where I didn't like myself. I didn't like who looked back at the mirror at me, and it just a whole lot of dark stuff, I guess. But I'm not the sort of person either that would really share it. And to top it all off, I was going through menopause as well. So, so there was all of that. And yeah, man, that photo was just like, it's still stuck in my brain.
Just like a slap in the face.
I'll never be that again. Yeah. It's just.
What was it about the photo that really shocked you? Like what was it?
So I think at that photo, like I just didn't realise how big I'd got. And like I didn't even weigh myself at that point, because when I saw the photo, I was too scared to get on the scales. But I think I was around about 120 kilos at that point.
Yeah. And you're how tall? Because you're quite short.
I'm 5'2".
Yeah.
So I actually tell everyone I looked like a wine barrel, like I was just round, And so, so that stays in the back of my mind constantly, because I just don't want to get back to not just the way I look, but how I felt. Like I've never in my life felt so low about myself. And I've always been quite a strong person. But yeah, that was definitely, when I look back at that Vicki, I think, wow, like I was a whole different person then, like literally inside and out.
Yeah. Because I think that's the hard thing. Sometimes like you can be, a bigger person and just be in love with yourself.
Yeah.
And you can be on your fitness journey, and the journey for you isn't about losing weight. It's about being more active, being more fit, being more mobile. And you don't want to be skinny, and that's not your goal, and that's fine. But it's that whole thing of like, do you really like love who you are?
Yeah.
And do you look in the mirror and be like, I'm so proud of me and I love who I am? Because it's the same.
Yeah,
like
it is.
You can talk to people that have had anorexia and bulimia and things like that, and they are stick thin, could not lose any more weight.
Yeah.
And everyone around would think like, you're skinny, you've got what you want. And they look in the mirror and they hate what they see.
Yeah.
Hate who they are, how they feel.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's just now, I mean, I was really proud of the journey that I did last year as well, even more so now. I just think I'm learning a lot more about my body and a lot more about, what my body can take and can't take and stuff like that. Like I listen to you and a lot of other ones in the club that have been on these journeys for years, and 6 months ago I'd hear you guys say, if I eat these carbs it reacts like this, or my body does this, and I'd be like,
what
how
does
do you
that
know
mean?
that?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. So, but now I think because I've been listening to you guys and stuff like that, I'm more aware of it. And I'm
so
really
when those things come up, you're like, I had a conversation about that.
Yeah. So those are a lot of the things that I'm still learning about, and learning how my body functions best and all of that sort of stuff. So, learning to love myself was a big part of my fitness journey, and just, I guess, of course, when you're that big, yes, like for me, it did become about the weight and the scales and that at some point.
It's got to start somewhere, though. It has to start somewhere.
Yeah, but it was also about, I want to be around to see my grandkids go. I want to grow up. I want to see my kids get married. I want to see them buy their first home, like all of that sort of stuff. And I just knew I was spiraling down into just some ugly health issues potentially coming up. I didn't have any at that point, but I know that there's only one way. When you're feeling that crap about yourself, there's only one alternative to come, and it's going to be the ongoing health issues and all of that sort of stuff. So,
and whether it is like body health issues, physical health issues, or mental health issues, like either of those that's terrifying.
Yeah, it
to
is.
know that you actually do have some control. And it's a choice. So you saw that photo and were horrified. And then in that moment you had like two choices to make. Number one is that you can bury your head in the sand and be like, it is what it is. I've always been a big girl. This is who I am. What was it that you were in your family? The big,
short, and the dark one.
Short, fat, and dark. You could have so easily said that. That's my story. That's my label. That's who I am. I've always been this way. This is just my life. It is what it is. It's unfair they have it easier than I do. This is difficult for me.
Yeah.
Bury my head in the sand, keep going how I am. Whatever will happen, will happen.
Yeah.
Or number 2, I'm actually going to give it a go. I don't know actually how this is going to pan out. I don't even know if it will work for me, because you never know when you take that first step. So I'm going to try something new, not knowing if it's going to work out, be a newbie, walk into a gym, which is terrifying because they're already scary for anyone anyway.
Yeah.
Why did you make the second choice?
So I sat on that photo for about probably 4 to 5 months, and I actually joined a gym and knew nothing about anything in the gym. So I would go and call it floundering around on a few cardio machines. And then, because then I got myself so self-conscious about going to the gym and not knowing what I was doing, it was another reason to talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
And then just one day, this thing popped up on my phone, and it was to put your details in and, you know, look at a personal trainer. And I just put them in, and then the next day I got a phone call, and I was like, oh my God, what have I done?
Why did I do that?
Why did I do that? Like, I'm so not ready for this. And so that was on, like, it was like a Friday or something like that. Made an appointment to meet him at the gym 3 or 4 days later, and sat me in a room. We had a conversation. I was a blubbering mess because I was so nervous about just being in the gym. And so he was like, well, do you want to train today? Like, and I'm not paying you to sit around and do nothing, mate. Like, let's get out there. And so, and I'd never even lifted a bar before, but he had me doing barbell squats. The first time I was like,
you're like, am I doing it
we not
right?
have this? Like, we literally had a conversation about how
New I am to this.
I am. So, and then I couldn't walk for about 3 or 4 days later, and he contacted me and said, I want to offer you a free session, come down Saturday. And then I just never looked back from there.
Yeah.
So, and I think for me it was having somebody that nurtured me and was patient.
And
like,
it's like safe. Like, you know,
totally.
You know, you're turning up to the gym to see a friendly face.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anyone else in the gym, and no one's going to look at you.
Yeah. And he sent me a program as well, which, I mean, I'm quite a list person anyway. So for me, it was
that worked.
Showing me how to use all of these machines, and then you do this day, you know what I mean? And so that worked really well for me. The other thing that I really appreciated as well was, although the scales were important to me, they went to him. So he never took one weight, one measurement, nothing.
Yeah.
For probably about 4 or 5 months, to be honest.
I love that.
I was keeping an eye on it myself.
Yeah.
But he didn't care about that. He was just like, and then after like 5 months, he was like, your smile lights up the whole gym. And that's what it's about for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, and then he checked on me regularly. And even when I finished training with him, and I got more confidence.
Yeah.
And then the boot camp started with OTB. And, you guys opened up here actually. And then the boot camp started up. So I sort of started going to them and just getting a little bit more confident. Like, I'd never even think about doing a group fitness class and stuff. And, I mean, even when I went to the gym, I would wear my husband's biggest, baggiest all black T-shirt and try and blend into the walls, you know, so that nobody, and it was just all because it was just so new to me. I didn't want everyone to be watching me. And, you know, it's so funny now because everyone's like, when I first started, I used to get the whole time, no one's watching you, Vicki. They're all doing their own thing. And now I'm like, people are like, oh, I've seen your journey. And I'm like, oh, so they are watching me.
So you guys are a bunch of liars. They are watching the whole frickin' time. They watched me when I fell over, didn't they? Great. It is. So, it's a hard one though, because like most people at the gym aren't actually watching you. And if you are a dick at the gym, you are watching people being a dick and doing nothing about it. And you're just a dick. So at the end of the day, if they're watching you, who cares? Because they're just a dick.
Yeah.
But if you're at the gym watching, well, I know for myself, when I'm at the gym and I watch people, I'm usually watching out of admiration.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You are putting me to shame. You are amazing. I need to be way more like you. Yeah. Because people are just beasts, and I just think it's amazing. And it's
I'm
hard.
Like that now too.
Fitness is a hard journey for anyone, even the really fit ones that we all look at and be like, oh my God, they're amazing. It's hard for them too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, everyone in the room struggling.
What I did realise in the way that people are watching is they're watching and they're coming up and saying, man, you've done an amazing job.
Yeah.
And, so that is just really uplifting and empowering for me. One of the things for me is that because they're watching or they have watched, for me, that still daily keeps me accountable.
Yeah. Which is a good thing, eh?
Yeah, totally.
And it's hard, like, so that even shows the growth in you.
Yeah.
Because that can go two ways, right? Like old you, the you that was in June of 2022, knowing that people were watching your fitness journey, you would have been like, no, thank you, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas now you're like, okay, cool, there's eyes on me.
Yeah, yeah.
Give them a good show.
Yeah, and that's why, like, even, when I came to the end of 2023 and I'd had a year anniversary of my fitness journey, why I posted up and tagged you guys and stuff like that into it, because for me, like, I know the work I put in and all of that, but also I was like, if people see this then and they say something or make a comment or whatever, I'm now forever feel accountable to it. And so, so it just has kept me going all this time, let alone all the good feels that come with it, But, so that accountability, I think, is one thing that I didn't know I had so strong in me. And so, so that's been a huge part for me as well, just learning those things about myself.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So let's talk about what it actually takes.
Okay.
Because all over social media and everyone always wants to know, like, how do I do it?
Yeah.
And we look at social media and it will say, here's your 6-minute ab workout.
Yeah.
Abs in 6 minutes. Like BBL in, I don't know, 3 weeks or all these things. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Humans, we do want things quick. We live in a world that is instant. If I literally want something right now, I can get it delivered to the door.
Yeah.
The fastest person wins. So like if this person says they're going to get it to me in 5 minutes, they win. It's all about speed. But there's one area of life that you will never be able to cheat, and that is your physical body. Yeah. That's why I think it's important for people to be in shape. That's why, and I don't mean in shape as in like the skinniest or whatever. Yeah. I mean like you should look like, if I ask you to pick this up, I would trust you to help me.
Yeah.
Like if we need to move this TV, I could trust you to help me.
Yeah.
If I'm like, hey, we've got to go for a walk over here or up this hill, I could trust you to come with me to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my version of being in shape.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's important, because it's an area of your life that you absolutely cannot cheat and take shortcuts.
No, you can't.
So what did it take? Like, what does your day now look like?
So I train 7 days a week. To start with, I didn't. I was doing like maybe 3 or 4 days a week. But then days in between, I might just go for a walk or something like that, just not actually to the gym. But I've been training 7 days a week for probably a good... maybe 15 months now. And so that normally consists of some cardio and then a weight class or a mana class or something like that. So I do that at least 6 days a week. And then on a Sunday, which is a rest, not rest day, rest day. I do, my husband and I would normally go for a walk or something like that. So, so that's sort of how my exercise day starts. Food-wise, one of the things I never ever did was eat breakfast. So I eat breakfast every day. Obviously, healthy snacks during the day, lunch and dinner. So fueling my body more often, whereas in 2022, I'd be lucky if I ate at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'd come home, head straight for the pantry and get whatever I could out of there because I was starving, hungry, and then eat a massive dinner and go to bed and do all the same stuff again the next day. Yeah. So the change is the biggest thing, I guess, from me and what I know from watching people around me is you cannot train hard out 5-6 days a week and then eat like crap and drink and do all of that stuff 4 to 5 nights a week. They go hand in hand. Yeah. And at some point, if you don't marry them up, you're never going to see results. Yeah. I maybe feel a little bit fitter and stuff like that, but if you actually want good results, you've got to work at both of them together. And it does take discipline. It does, you know. So now I can sit at the family dinner and do my dinner table and make a huge, massive roast for my family to eat, but eat on plan,
Yeah.
you know, or eat a salad or whatever. It doesn't, because the mentality has shifted for me, and my family have struggled with that as well, that it's not just about the food, it's about the company.
Yeah.
And so, and when they've realised that actually it's just about having everyone under one roof, I don't really care what you eat, they've now like, yeah, okay, we get it, Mum, you know. Discipline, being organised is huge if you want to get on a good journey, and that's not just with like planning out your training and that. Like I plan out the night before what I'm wearing to work the next day, what training gear I need, all of that sort of stuff, and then I'll get organised all my food for the next day and stuff like that, so that when I get home from training, I can just jump straight into my normal working day and stuff. So it's about being organised, disciplined, and I guess a lot of it is some self-control as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we all want treats and stuff, and I'm not saying that I never have them, but it's just about
when, where, and how much.
Yeah, and I'm not going and eating a whole bag of chips.
Yeah.
And then having a bag of lollies and whatever else, you know, it's just about controlling the urges of that. I don't, and knowing that now I eat to fuel my body so I can train better and live a healthier lifestyle. Yeah. So that's the whole mental switch.
Because there's a saying that's out there that I'm sure everyone's heard about: you can't out-train a bad diet.
Yes.
I've heard it a million times.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, like, I'll be honest, I have got actually, no. I've got very good self-control when I've decided that I'm enough to have self-control. When I love myself enough to have self-control. That's actually the core of what it is. It's not when I'm on a challenge or whatever. When I'm in a space where I love me so much that I'm happy to go, I'm going to have self-control right now. I've got great self-control, right? When I don't love me, my self-control is like a struggle, as it is for most people.
Yeah.
And I am terrible with like portions of things. So I will eat a whole bag of chips and more and more and more and more and more, and I'll open up a block of chocolate and eat it all up and keep going and keep going. And genetically, like, my family is tall and lean, muscular, like out of shape version of my family is still quite an in shape version for other people, or like a goal body for other people, right? Like, I fully understand that. I get it. I have been blessed with genetics. I have. But if I want to perform at my best, food can put me in a great space or a bad space. Yeah. So for some people, they can eat like, you know, like, well, Richie did a podcast with Jazz just the other day, and he literally talked about some of the athletes in the Warriors, Jazz Tavanga. So some of the athletes in the Warriors, they'll eat right up until it's time to kick off, and they're fine. Yeah. And others are like, well, I've got to give myself a few hours. Yeah. You know, we watch athletes, and they'll eat terrible food on the day of a game day and they perform great. Yeah. Whereas, like, I know I have a sensitive gut. So if I eat something or even drink something, like, I can't drink carbonated pre-workouts because the bubbles bloat me too much and then I can't move properly. So it's little things like that, right? And everyone struggles with different things. But when you were talking before, you can't out-train a bad diet. And if you think of your food, like, it's hard at the beginning of your journey. It was all about how you look, all about how you look. So I've got to think of my food as in, like, how will this make me look? Will I lose weight? La la la. You're at a point now where it's like you actually look at your food as fuel. Yeah. How will I perform on this meal? Yeah. So if I eat no meal before I come to a flex class and expect my body to lift heavy weights, how will I perform? Not very well at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. And then, of course, doing the nutrition course, the ladies' nutrition course a few weeks ago, like, I was really bad for not fueling before I did any class, whether it be cardio, weights, flex, whatever. And so I made a goal to start that. And so it's like 2 or 3 weeks now. Man, my whole day is different, from a tablespoon of peanut butter at 3:30 in the morning before I go and do my cardio. Honestly, I have not had that much energy all day in forever. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, man, why don't I do this, like, years, like ages ago,
Yeah.
you know. And I mean, even on challenges and stuff, like it's there written in black and white. Have a banana or a teaspoon or a tablespoon of peanut butter before you train. But I'm always just like being in that, oh my
It's
God.
too early.
Who wants to eat at 3:30 in the morning? So I made an effort to try, and man, it has just been life-changing for me. So, and I've talked to a few other girls in the gym and stuff, and they're like, yeah, actually we're finding it's really good. So, so those sort of things are just, it's amazing how food can be, like you say, a good thing or a negative thing. And so, for me, it's now I've just been I just fuel my body to, you know, I don't really, it's funny because I mean, obviously on a challenge at the moment, but I just don't feel like I'm missing out on really anything or, it's just.
It's because your mind, like what you were just talking about, your mindsets shift.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not looking at food for how yummy it is or like the feeling that it gives you. You're looking at it like the fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you do look at food as in like fuel, you'll look at those, like I'll be honest, because I love donuts. Yeah. Like I love donuts and I'm not eating at the moment because I'm doing 75 hard. So I've taken donuts off my diet because I'm like, come on, Jess, you love them too much and you're not eating them for any good reason. But if I actually just had like a cinnamon donut before training, I'm genuinely serious. I know my body so well that if I had a donut and then I did flex class, I would lift like a champion. Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
But my issue is I don't have a donut. I have like 6. And they're never just the cinnamon ones. They've all got like all of the icing and the goods. But like it's things like that where if you can figure out for your own body, like, hey, look, actually if I have some carbs and a bit of sugar and stuff before I train, like I am amazing and I train well. For some people, peanut butter wouldn't be it, but maybe some honey would be. Yeah. Maybe a banana would be, maybe a boiled egg. So it's testing those things out. But also on that, because anyone that's listening that it's at the beginning of their journey and they're like, oh my God, like I've just weighed myself in. I've just seen my photo that's changed my life. And now I'm listening to this and I'm thinking like, oh my God, food is fuel and what the frick are carbs? What are you talking about with this peanut butter in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning? It's remembering that this is now, if you've made that choice to get on this journey, this is a journey for life. This is not a journey, even if you're jumping on a challenge. Yeah. Like even if you're doing a 12-week challenge, just think to yourself, this is 12 weeks to set some good habits, but this is a life change for me. Yeah, totally. So I'm going to use this challenge to set these new habits. But now, and I'm going to ask all the questions and what do you eat before you train and who do you listen to? What podcast do you listen to? Blah, 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 blah. It's the start of a long journey. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And you've been on your journey for a year and a half. Yeah. More than that. Yeah. Yeah, and it's... Be 2 years. Yeah. 2-year journey. 2-year journey. And you're starting... And like 2-year journey and you've just learned about like, should fuel myself before I train. Yeah. Okay, cool. Exactly. Crazy. But that's normal stuff. Yeah, it is. Because like I've been doing this like stuff for so long and I am a nerd for it. Yeah. And I've done all those things and I believed in fasted training and fasted cardio for women, for anyone for so long. I was like, this is the best way to do it. You're going to burn the most fat. It's going to be the best for your body, da-da-da-da. And then I was like, why do I feel like shit all the time? Yeah. Why am I doing my cardio? And I'm just like, want to faint. This sucks. I don't have energy to push. I want to go harder. Like I know that I want to go harder in my cardio, but I'm just not getting it. I know that I want to lift heavier, but it's just not happening. It's a mindset. You need to harden up, which is true sometimes. Yeah. You do need to just harden up. Yeah. But then I found this lady called Stacey Sims. If you haven't listened to her, she's incredible. She's incredible. She deals with female athletes and she deals a lot in like hormones, menopause, everything like that. Yeah. And she was one of the people that it really irked me when she said it because I was like, how dare you? I believe so heavily in this. But she was like, fasted cardio for women is stupid. And I was like, you just call me stupid. Yeah. And then the more that I listened to her and the more that I looked at it and I was like, fine, I'll try this stupid thing she's talking about. She was talking about like, you know, you have, what was the piece of toast with peanut butter and banana on it. Yeah. Sprinkle some like cinnamon and salt, little honey, and I was like, oh my God, I can't eat all that. Yeah, yeah. Like I'll eat all that and I'll feel sick before I train. Yeah, and then I did it and was like, oh, I'm a beast, bro. Like I was like, maybe she knows. Maybe Dr. Stacey Sims knows something, but she's amazing. Yeah. But that like, I'm at that point in my journey now where like I have figured out like your mindset always goes up and down.
Yeah, of course
and your
it does,
willpower
yeah.
always goes up and down.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, I'm at the point now where I truly believe that if you can wake up in the morning and the first thing that you do is like check in with you and fall in love with yourself for the day.
Yeah.
If you can do that every morning, everything else is going to be easier.
Yeah.
So if you just take the first 5 minutes of your day to like wake up and be like, I'm so glad that I'm me.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really love that I'm resilient. I am going to work on these 2 things about myself today. I'm going to be more empathetic with the way that I talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm going to be more gracious with myself today because it's a big day. I love who I am. I love who I'm becoming. I love the story that I've lived so far, the story that I'm now writing for myself. It's going to be way easier when you wake up and go, God, I love who I am.
Yeah.
I'm so in love with me, to go, I'm going to have a good breakfast.
Yeah.
But if you wake up being like, oh my God, I'm so fat and I'm ugly and I'm this, and like, why am I always the slowest in class?
Yeah.
You know, why does the coach always call me out in class? Like, how come she's box jumping like that and I can't? What's wrong with me? Then it's really hard to go, I'm going to have a really good breakfast because, like, I mean, I suck at everything else.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it just doesn't flow.
Just sets you up for a really crappy day, really, doesn't
Yeah.
it? You know, that shift in mentality. And I guess one of the other things, just touching on that as well, that I've learned is everybody's in their own journey.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're all here, really. We're all on a journey of some
Whether
sort.
you're on a challenge or not, we're all figuring
just all
something out.
starting at different times and points and whatever of our lives. And this year in particular has taught me that I don't need to keep up with that person in the class, that person.
Yeah.
Do I look at them and go, man, that's goals? Totally,
Yeah,
of course.
100%.
Because if you don't, then, you know, like I'm a real believer in we need goals and we need things
We need people to
strive
chase,
for,
man. We
you
need
know?
people to
Yeah.
chase.
But I've also learnt this year that having to take a major step back from the start of the year to get to where I am, I'm so proud of my progress and so proud of the way I'm moving and stuff like that. I mean, I guess, you know, because I like challenges and I like goals and that. And I remember coming to you after I'd injured myself and only a few weeks back off crutches and saying to you, Jess, if I do this challenge, am I setting myself up to fail because I can't train like I used to? And you said, no, Vicki. And I said, because I'm not coming in not to win, Jess. And you were like, oh my God, woman, like
life.
you're like literally been back a week, you know.
You're not even supposed to be back.
You know, and so those things for me, like, you know, you got to challenge yourself a little bit as well. But when you are comparing yourself to this person, that, and I can't do this, I can't do that, you're always setting yourself up to fail. So, you know, you've got to set yourself realistic tasks. And yes, of course we want to look like the Katies and the Roos and the Jesses and all of that. Like, yes, they're goals, mate. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to be like that. Like, not necessarily look like that, but I want to move like
you.
that. I want to lift like that. But, you know, I'm never going to look like you because I'm 5'2".
Yeah.
You know, so,
but it's also like, how boring would the world be if we all looked exactly the same?
You know, but having those inspirational people to role model against is really important 100%. As well. You know, and so setting all those goals and stuff is really important. Loving yourself and remembering that some days it may not happen as well as it did yesterday or even as it is tomorrow. That's fine. Like I set myself sometimes on days like that, I'll set myself a goal of I'm not feeling it today, but I'm not going to train. Yeah. So I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to smash out as many calories as I can in 30 minutes because that's all I feel like I've got in me today. Yeah. You know?
But that right there, that right there, doing that is loving yourself.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's really hard when you see people be like, I'm gonna love myself today and like not work towards my goal. Like it just blows my mind when people do that. Like I understand because I mean, and I'm sure you've heard this and we're going to tap on it very soon, but you would have had a million people tell you like, you shouldn't train every day and da-da-da. But if you feel like you can, then you should.
Yeah.
Like exactly. I do understand rest days, but I also think that we are getting rest days confused and thinking that doing absolutely nothing on your rest day is the only way to rest. Yeah. Like for me, going for a walk, like I'll go around Bruce Pullman and do a walk, right? And we'll take our dogs. That is a rest to me. Yeah. Like in my head, I'm like, this is rest.
Yeah.
I'm out in nature. I'm with my
Yeah,
dog.
I'm outside. Yeah.
I'm so enjoying this. It might be a little bit rainy or a little bit but like this is a break from everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's rest. Like you going for a walk with your husband on the Sunday.
Yeah. So we've decided, especially with, him coming on board with the challenge and stuff as well, but one of the things we've decided, and it kind of started from doing the wildcard challenges, he started coming, is we really love one day a week where we get outside and work out, and it's really good. So last Sunday, for example, we went to Massey Park. We were like, we're only going to do 45 minutes and we're just going to go for a walk around the park, And then we got there and I thought, I might just try and run a lap. And then I did 5K, which is the first time this year I've been able to run 5K post-injury. And I was like, man, I was down the other end of the track and I was celebrating on my own at the end of the track, because that's a huge thing for me, But that was our rest day, and it just turned into, not that I went there to run 5K. No. It was just we went to get outside, get some fresh air, have a walk, and then it turned into that. So I then went home and blobbed on the couch
100%.
and binge watched Netflix, but I was still active, and I guess that is the big difference is, you've still got time to just, and if, even if it is just get your kids and your hubby and the dogs or whatever out to go for a 20-minute, half an hour walk, it's still,
or even just outdoors at the playground, you're moving around more. You don't have to blob on the couch all the time.
Exactly.
So let's tap on two more things before we end this, because there's a couple of things I want to tap on. Number one is the injury that you had was quite serious and resulted in you having to have a surgery, and then you had a downtime and a ban from the gym of how long?
So I injured myself in December last year, and I completely tore the tendon and the hamstring off my hip bone. Mm-hmm. And so don't do Vicki and keep training and stuff.
I know, because you didn't even think you'd properly injured yourself. No, you were like, it's a bit of a cramp.
So I heard it, and then I was like, it's a bit sore and stuff. So I did a bit of massage and stuff, and then went to physio, and they found out that it was actually I needed surgery. So I had surgery at the end of January this year, and then I was 6 weeks with no weight bearing on crutches. Like, it was hard, and I actually really struggled. But I had lots of people around me supporting me and making sure I was okay and stuff like that. It was hard though, because to go from training 7 days a week to literally nothing was really bloody hard.
And that's one thing I actually wanted to ask you. So when that happened, because you had been on your journey and you had become a new person, like you really had become a new person. Was it difficult for you to be stopped in your tracks to continue to be the new person and not go back into who you used to be?
I think there were times that were like that, but the new person in me, I still kind of watched what I ate, even in that 6 weeks, and I was more conscious about, what I was eating and stuff like that. Because my worst fear, to be honest with you, was gaining all the weight that I'd lost back. Now, I don't know, I would have had to eat a shitload of food to gain 43 kilos back in 6 weeks.
100%.
But in my head, I was like,
it's doable.
I can't do this. I just did it, And so I wasn't super hard on myself, but I definitely was conscious of it. Because I knew I couldn't move like I used to, So, definitely did play a little bit in my head, but I feel like the new version of Vicki was stronger.
Yes.
And I was like, nah, you've got this girl, And the other thing is I had a lot of people tapping in and checking on me, which I think it was really important as well. Not just for that side of it, but for my mental well-being and stuff like that. And people would come around and pull a place up on my couch and talk crap for an hour or so, and just touching in with my girlfriends and stuff like that was really, really important as well. So 6 weeks post-surgery, I was allowed to come back and do some training at the gym. And so that was, it nearly killed me to be back in the gym and not do what I used to.
Was that harder?
It actually was.
That was harder.
Yeah. I remember you putting a post out saying, I want you to see how long it takes you to burn 10 calories. And it took me 25 minutes on the treadmill because I was only allowed to walk at the slowest speed and no incliner. And I was just like, I remember sending you that photo and saying, this literally killed me, Jess, like to take so long. And you were like, yeah, but at least you know you've got a starting point, you know? And so, and then I've just gradually built up. So, you know, I'm now 22 weeks post-surgery. And
You ran 5K?
I ran 5K last week. So
Which, that in itself is hard, might I add.
yeah.
Like, I don't even really want to go and do that.
You know what? I had never ran 5K before I injured myself.
So maybe it was a blessing because you're like, I want to do all the things because I've not been allowed.
Yeah. And so what I've learned is it's a real pleasure to be able to move.
Oh, that's good.
You know, because so many people can't. And I couldn't do it for only 6 weeks. Like now I'm like, it was only 6 weeks. But, you know, I know people that can't even move at all or for various reasons and stuff. So it really is a privilege to be able to move as quick, slow, fast, whatever.
If you can move,
if you can move, you should move because...
Like I scream at you guys at ladies' night.
Yeah.
If you can, you must.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can do box jumps, you must.
Yeah. And, you know, even like I even see coming back into OTB at post my injury and stuff like that, you know, I haven't been able to move the way I used to, but I'm slowly getting back in. So I'm doing burpees now and stuff like that. But, you know, I see some people in the background and I'm like, damn, if you can do it, I can do
100%.
it. You know, and so,
100%.
So it's all of that again comes back to the ones around you, surrounding yourself with people who inspire you.
Yeah.
And to a point, a bit of healthy competition doesn't go amiss with me either.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like... Yeah.
Like if you're a toxic person, then you're gross.
Yeah.
But there is nothing wrong with being competitive if you are looking at someone for inspiration and being like, I've got to be better.
Yeah.
Not better than them, just better than I was when I just lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And those are some of the reasons why you'll hear me yelling in class and stuff like that is because, you know, like it's not so much I can see that person not doing it.
Yeah.
I yell at them because it gives me encouragement to keep
if
going.
If you go faster, I probably will too. Hurry up.
And especially if I'm like, man, I'm really struggling. I don't know if I'm going to make it till the end of the class. If I'm yelling, I can't be standing there yelling at you and I'm standing there,
exactly.
you know, like
hands on hips, deep breathing.
Yeah. I have to be moving my ass too, you know.
100%.
So that stuff keeps me going and keeps me accountable.
Because on that as well, so we have got in our 5 a.m. class, we've got a couple of our big boys and they've lost quite a lot of weight recently. However, when they were weighing 160 kgs, they were box jumping. And when they did that, when those boys at 160 kgs did box jumps, I remember looking around the room and you could see everyone that was like, what?
Yeah.
Because they just opened a door to anyone that weighed less than that, being like, I should probably be giving that a go. Like, yes, you should. Because they did exactly what you said. It is a privilege to move.
Yeah.
And they just opened a door being like, well, if we can do it at 160, how come you're not even giving it a go at 100?
Yeah. Yeah. And those, like, honestly, those, I see them and I'm like, you know, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I wasn't doing burpees. And that was a little bit in my own head though too, like, because I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not quite there, you know. But now, and then coming to the mana class and seeing them, I'm like, they're doing burpees.
Yeah.
Stop being a dick, Vicki, and get up and do it. Like, you can do it,
100%.
you know. And so I did one. I'm like, oh, actually, it's good.
Yeah.
I had the conversation with my physio this morning. I said I just get in my head sometimes when the more difficult exercises because I'm worried about re-injuring.
Going back there.
So he's just like, give it a go, and if it hurts,
if it doesn't
then
feel
obviously
right, stop.
You know, so it gets that whole what you always say, listen to your body.
Yeah.
Vicki.
How many times do I have to bang this into your guys' heads? Because this is the thing, right? Like, I am all for pushing the boundary, and you should push the boundary, and you should, like we were talking a little while ago, like you should absolutely chase burnout.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely
chase it. Like, I can feel myself getting close to burnout. I can feel it because this has been a very big week. I've got a very big weekend.
Yeah.
I can feel myself getting close to burnout.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh God, here it comes. But I'm not going to stop and be like, I'm just going to take some time and I'm just going to rest. Because I'm like, no, I'm chasing that motherfucker. Like, that's what I want. Because I want to chase burnout, because when I burn out, I am going to rejuvenate. I'm going to hibernate. I'm going to do the things that I know work for me. And then I'm coming back 10 times stronger, because that's how I was built. I'm a warrior, bro. That's what I do. Like, I will burn myself right out and rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just how I am.
Yeah.
In saying that, I've had an injury on I figured out how I did it, and I don't want to tell anyone because it was really stupid, but I've hurt like the back of my leg, right?
Yeah.
And so I was skipping the other day, and I skipped and I felt it just be like ping, and I was like, oh shit. And I'm terrified of like snapping my Achilles.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. I was doing double unders, and I was like, I'm not going to do double unders, but I'm going to continue to skip.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I'm all about pushing your boundaries and pushing yourself. Listen to your body.
Yeah.
Your body will tell you when it's time to stop. Don't listen to your mind.
Yeah.
Don't listen to your mind going, ow, it hurts, it's sore.
Yeah.
Listen to your body going, yeah, cool. You know how you just fell over? Yeah, that's because you're tired. Get up and walk the rest of it.
Yeah.
Stop the run. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I'm at that point now. And so now I am pushing myself a little bit more. I've started doing a few more runs with the classes and stuff like that. And it feels, for me, it's really a cool feeling to feel like I'm part of the whole class now. Not, and I'm not saying that not everybody is, but just for me, coming from where I was,
100%.
I'm like, I always used to feel like,
I want to go out there.
And so I'm definitely building on that, which
what
is
a cool feeling that you have rebuilt yourself.
Yeah.
Isn't that the coolest feeling? That's why I have the mentality of like chasing burnout.
Yeah.
Because I want to completely destroy myself so I can rebuild myself exactly how I want to be. And then I look back and I'm like, fuck, if I got through that, I can get through anything.
Oh, totally.
And I know, the society will tell, we've talked about this. I love David Goggins. Yeah. I understand that he's a male. I understand that he relates more to the men, blah, blah, blah. I know that women should be more feminine. I fully get all those things. However, I think that all humans should have it in them. And to be honest, mums are the fiercest of them all. Mums are crazy fierce, insane. And so for me, I'm I love David Goggins and his mindset where he talks about not having a day off. I posted one of his things that he did recently, and he was like, I don't have a day off. I'm in my late 40s. I look like this. I eat like this. I do all these things. I talk like this. He just is absolutely insane. And I love it because I'm like, well, I can be like that too. And don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a side of David Goggins where he does switch off and he does watch movies and he does go man, that injury hurts. I've got to get some rehab on that and da-da-da. But his alter ego, which we should all have, is I want to be in hard positions. I want to be in things that are really difficult because when I get through it, I feel so much better about myself.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And it's the confidence you build in yourself.
Yeah.
When we were talking before and I said for me, people in shape are the people that I can be like, hey, can you help me lift this thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
How much does it suck when someone says, hey, can you help me with this? And you're like, oh, I don't actually know if I can. We actually, this is a little funny story, but we had a guy come and he dropped our couches off to our house.
Yeah.
And they're quite heavy and they were in boxes. Yeah. And he turned up with his van and he had been talking to Richie. And Richie was like, yeah, drop them off at this time, da-da-da. So the guy turned up and he's like, oh, I'm here with the couches. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool, yep. So I went and got my shoes on and I was like, let's do this thing. And he's like, is Richie here? Yeah. And I was like, no. And then he was like, oh, it's quite a heavy box. I was like, yeah, all good. We'll do it. Because I was just so confident. I was like, well, if I can deadlift that, I can pick up a bloody couch. Come on now. And if I can't, I'll figure it out. But that's why I love coming to the gym because I know my body so well because I can test those things.
Yeah.
If someone said to me, are you able to run to here? I would be able to tell you yes or no.
Yeah.
Whereas if I do nothing, I'll be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the last thing that I really want to talk to you about, and it is a subject that I know nothing about for myself personally. Yeah. I've listened to all the podcasts, I've read the books and seen the posts and da-da-da-da-da, but I have not lived it myself.
Yeah.
But it is a journey that I am on, trying to prepare myself for, trying to get all the information under the world, and it is something that I think is starting to be talked about more, but not enough, and it is menopause. Mm-hmm. So are you in menopause?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, cool. So you're going through it at the moment?
Yeah. So I started perimenopause about when I was about 42, 43.
Yeah. See, that even is new.
Yeah.
I didn't even know perimenopause was a thing.
Yeah.
So what is that like?
Oh, I think it's different for a lot of people, but it sort of, you start out with like, well, for me, it was definite mood swings.
Oh, good.
Like, oh man, it was crazy.
Oh no.
Lots of mood swings and stuff. Like, I would be watching reels on my phone and just burst out crying and tears, and it was just like the kids and my husband were walking and be like, "Mum, what's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing, I'm just watching this on my phone," and it'd be the crazy stuff. But then I could be like that and then be absolutely flying off the handle because there was a cup left on the bench or something like that for no reason. Honestly, it is like
Did you
a
know that it
roller
was
coaster
like? Did you
ride.
know it was perimenopause, or were you just like, shit, something's going on?
Well, I think I had an idea, but I think because my mum never talked about it, my nan's never talked about it, and, generations gone by hadn't, so I wasn't really sure. So I think I just slugged along for a couple of years, and then I did go and see my doctor about it, and she was like, yeah, no, we're there.
How did that feel?
I don't know. I think for me it was just like a part of life.
Yep.
I knew I was going to be
Knew it
going
was
through
coming.
it.
Yep. Okay, cool.
My mum went through it quite early as well. She suffered from a lot of hot flushes. That's all she could ever tell me was just the hot flushes.
Which is more often than not the thing. But some of the podcasts that I've listened to, it's huge. Mental health is a massive one.
So then, and it was more when I went to the doctor. It was more around the mood swings and stuff like that. But night hot flushes for me were really bad. Like
Really?
like changing sheets every day. Bad. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was crazy. And then on top of that was just the brain fog. You actually feel like to a point you're losing your memory.
Oh.
And I'm like, man, is this like what it feels like to be getting old? Or is this, you know what I mean?
Yes,
like you think
yeah.
about dementia and Alzheimer's. And I have read actually and looked into a lot of people and a lot of women going through menopause actually give up their jobs because of that whole brain fog happening at work, loss of memory, all of that sort of stuff. And it's all related to menopause. So that was just crazy. And then when I started my health journey, I saw a documentary done by a lady in the, I think it's called like Love, Sex and Menopause or something. And so she did a documentary in the UK about it, and that's when it came more about it, the hormone replacement therapy and stuff like that. So my husband and I actually sat and watched that together, and like the list of stuff, I was like, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. So a couple of weeks later, because it was around Christmas time, I phoned my doctor and I started on the hormone replacement patches.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Did they do that in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
so there's a hope.
Good thing is they're free as well, so they're subsidised, which was great. So I started on the minimum dose. That didn't really work for me. Went up in dose, and oh my God, my whole life was so different after that. The mental clarity, the mood swings, the hot flushes, all of that stuff just subsided. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. So then I just started sharing it with everyone in my age bracket. Watch this. Honestly, you got to. And so that then roller coasted a lot of my girlfriends, my sisters, my sister, my cousins, all of that. Like, honestly, guys, this worked for me. You can only try it, see how it goes for you. And we're having more conversations about it.
It's so important, eh? Like
Totally,
it's so important. And it's so important to have the conversation before. Like, we should be having this chat in our 20s.
Yeah, we should be. And it should be, because I think that for me, I want my girls to get to that age and be like, oh, yeah, Mum was really open about it. This is some of the stuff she went through, all of that kind of stuff. And so that, for me, was having those conversations with my girlfriends, my sisters, my cousins, and then my own kids. One of the things that helped me within my little whānau actually was my husband read up about it a lot. He read a lot about it. And then he actually phoned all of our kids and had a conversation with them to say, this is what mum's going through.
Right.
So she's going to be moody. She's really upfront. Like if you thought she was loving you hard
now
a year ago,
death
she's
love.
like, she's like on the extreme.
Oh my God.
And he had a conversation with all of the kids about it and just said, so, just know now she'll always be straight up, but now she's like directly straight up.
Yeah.
She won't pussyfoot round, And so I really appreciated that, because then I didn't feel like I had to sit and explain, it's because I'm going through this and that. And not that I ever use it as an excuse, but sometimes, like literally,
to understand.
you can be thinking something and it just flies out of your mouth. You've hurt somebody in the process, and then later, 10 minutes later, I'm in the room crying because I couldn't control what I just said. And then be like, I'm so sorry I hurt you, da-da-da-da-da. But honestly, that is exactly how crazy and how quick it gets.
So it's kind of like going all through like your teen hormones again at an older age, with the added of brain fog and
and hot flushes and body aches and whatever else you get. Some women get quite bad headaches and stuff like that with it as well.
That's going to be me. I get headaches from everything.
Yeah, I didn't, because I've suffered from migraines, but I didn't really sort of get them. Maybe I did, and I just
had too many other things. You were like,
I've
I've got too much else to worry about. Yeah, I don't care about the stupid headache.
And then the other thing as well that I so I did on the HRT for almost a year, and then I had a shift at the end of last year as well in my menopause, and I felt like it was starting to really get, again with a really bad night, hot flushes and all of that sort of stuff. So I went back to my doctor and got on a slightly higher dose of the HRT, and then that worked as well. So I think as well, when you see a shift and when you see a change in your body and stuff like that, to recognise that and not just go, oh no, it's okay. Especially if it's carrying on for some time. Because, I think probably the biggest thing with all of that going on is, for me personally, has been the lack of sleep. Yeah. And hence why I train at 3:30 in the morning. Yeah. Because I'm on a good night, I will get 5 hours sleep a night. And that's broken. So I can look at my Fitbit in the morning and I might have got 5 hours sleep, but I've been awake for an hour and 15 minutes of that 5 hours. So that is quite a normal thing. And a lot of women I've spoken to have been like never been early morning people, but they are now because their bodies won't let them sleep and stuff like that. So, I guess if you're seeing those changes, particularly around your mood swings, hot flushes, and then that brain fog stuff, go and see your GP. Yeah. And, just have those conversations, get your hormone levels tested, that kind of stuff. I personally feel like we're going perimenopause earlier and earlier these days. I think my mum was well in her 50s. My sister and I both started under 45, so I just feel like it's, if you're feeling like that, definitely go and speak to somebody about it. And there's so many different things out there that you can take as well. Some of them are a have as well, but I guess speaking to other women, seeing what worked for them, it doesn't work for everybody, is good, but definitely getting some advice from your doctors is probably the best advice I could give. So.
How good that you were in your journey and you were in line more with your body to be able to notice that, because a lot of the things, the symptoms and stuff is symptoms of being overweight as well. Yeah. And having like brain fog can often come from the foods that we eat too sometimes. Yeah. So like if you're not taking full care of your body, it's really hard sometimes to advocate for your symptoms that you're getting, because it's really easy to be like, oh, it's because I had cheese. Oh, it's because I had this. I've got headaches from that, or I've got night sweats because I had that. I'll just be detoxing from that food that I had, or the alcohol, whatever. Whereas you were in a part of your journey where you were in touch with your body and you were able to go, actually, I know that I'm fit. I know that I'm healthy. I know that I'm doing really well. I'm drinking all my water. Why is this still happening? Yeah. And like, I know doctors, I'm going to say, because the doctors are good, I'm not trying to say, but it's hard. Like, they will judge you if you're coming in with all these symptoms and you are overweight, not taking care of yourself. It is hard for them because they have to get through this list of stuff. It could be these things here first.
Yeah.
So let's try all of that. The journey might be a bit longer.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go in being like, look, I move like this, I eat like this, I drink like this, I'm taking care of myself, so that's out of the way. I'm in a healthy weight range, that's out of the way. Healthy body fat, that's out of the way. Something is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I was lucky enough to be in that position.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like there are things with menopause that are similar.
Yep.
But everybody kind of does go on it is quite different for everyone. The other big piece of advice I reckon as well is talk to your mums if you're able to. Or your nans if you're able to, people like that, or even aunties and stuff like that, because I feel like they will have some sort of idea at least around what sort of age maybe and stuff like that as well. But it's funny how I mean, like a lot of things in life now, there's just things that never got talked about in generations
100%.
gone.
Yeah.
But menopause is definitely one that I am quite passionate about.
Yeah.
Going through it myself.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want my girls to just suffer in silence.
No way.
Like my mum did.
And we just shouldn't.
Yeah.
On like multiple things we just shouldn't.
Yeah. So, and I think that's why I'm so vocal about it as well. And but definitely knowing what to look out for.
Yeah.
Knowing your body and, like if there's changes and stuff happening all the time and that just
Advocate.
speak out.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to go to your doctor, maybe find somebody around you that, that
does want to or would help you.
Yeah, or would help you or maybe going through it or being through it.
Yeah.
Because then you'll be surprised at how many things you'll tick off on a list of menopausal
100%.
things. Then go, actually, I think I might be taking a trip to the doctor just to follow up a bit more.
Yeah. So how old were you when you started your weight loss journey? You were in your 40s, was it?
My weight loss journey. So I am going to be 49 in August. So I was 47.
Okay. So I want you to give, just as we finish off this podcast today, I want you to give 3 pieces of advice for women that are possibly perimenopausal, possibly menopausal, that are older in their 40s. Advice for them that are looking, maybe they've had the moment that you've had and they've seen that photo and they're sitting on it for a couple of months and sitting on that photo and they're giving themselves all the excuses of I'm older, it's menopause, I'll look at it after menopause is gone, all the things, what the excuses are, you would have gone through them too. I want you to give 3 pieces of advice or actionable steps that they can take to start that journey to change their life for the better.
Okay.
What would be your advice for those beautiful women that are watching this right now going, I'm older, I want to lose weight, I'll just wait.
Yeah. So I guess the first piece of advice would be to make the decision to do it and then reach out to somebody for some help.
Yeah.
So whether that be a doctor, a mate that's training already, a PT, or personal trainer, or a gym like OTB or whatever, reach out to somebody and say, I'm ready, but I need some help. Okay?
Oh, that's good.
Because they will help you. They will love hard on you and make you come in and do it.
Yeah.
So that would be the first piece of advice. The second piece of advice is give yourself some leniency to start with.
Yeah.
So plan your weeks. So this week I'm going to do 3 days of going to the gym and then I'm going to do a walk in between, right? For 1 month and then go 4 days a week and then build on that. But when I say leniency, I mean not do it. I mean do it, but set yourself a training plan every day. Once you've done that for a month, I would then really look more at your food. Because for me personally, I couldn't do the menopause, the training and the food all at once because it was just too much.
Yeah.
And my brain was like, I can't do it, I'm giving up. So I started with the training and then I sorted my menopause out and then I did the food. But if either way, I don't really, it's up to you how you choose to do it. That worked really well for me. I kind of wish that I had done maybe the menopause stuff first, because that once I got that sorted out, I was like, oh my God, the penny's finally dropped and I'm feeling so much better. So get some help, get some advice, get a training plan in place, and then sort your food out.
Yeah.
The best piece of advice I can give over and above that is you do not know you can do it until you try.
Yeah.
You honestly, a huge thing. I never thought I would be able to get into a gym and do what I'm doing now, let alone move the way I am now and look the way I do now. You know, like none of that came without hard work, without sacrifice and without discipline. But I didn't know I could do it until I tried.
Yeah.
And when I tried, it wasn't easy and it was hard work, but it was rewarding work.
Yeah.
And the rewards now, I'm reaping in all the rewards, do you know? And so you've just got to give it a go. One of the things that came through years ago from my girls' kapahaka group was if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you.
Yeah.
And I carried that right through my journey, and I still do now, and I put it on our pages and stuff like that because I'm a big believer in it. So if you want to challenge yourself, you have to challenge yourself, otherwise you're never going to change. And it's about how much do you want the change.
Yeah.
You know, is the change bigger than the excuses you're making? And that's what I did. My change was bigger than my excuses in the end. And in the end, I ran out of excuses of not doing it. So it was like, girl, you've just got to do it, you know, so...
That's so good. Thank you so much for sharing.
All right.
Thank you for talking about topics that some people don't want to talk about because they need to be heard and shared. And ladies, if you have enjoyed what you've heard today, please make sure that you share this with someone that needs the information that was in it. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel so that you can get more of our podcast, and make sure you share it and ask your friend to subscribe too, because we need to build our community so that we can build our stories. Vicki, I really appreciate you for coming on today.
Thank you.
It's so important that people realize that if you advocate for your health, you can have everything solved. You just got to bust that door down sometimes. Yep. And I think it's a beautiful story that you have because you fought for the life that you wanted, but you loved yourself knowing I actually deserve this life. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So I hope that you ladies get that from Vicki's story as well. And if you are looking to live the life that you know you deserve, listen up for more of our stories, rewind, take some notes from Vicki's story, and we'll see you on the next podcast.